All right, ladies and gentlemen, our very first series of PiGFest here. It's Group B is the first series we're playing. Due to scheduling issues, we made sure we did Group B first for the players. It is, of course, a tournament which we hope to get to $10,000 prize pool. It's currently just above $7,000, and we have a man who has never won a PiGFest, though he is the reigning world champion. It is Clem in the top left side of the map. His opponent down here in the bottom left side, representing Team Liquid, it's Skillus. Now, Skillus comes in here as one of our qualifiers, a bit of a wild card. He's made it into PiGFest before. I think his first time into PiGFest, he actually lost to Maru back when we were doing single elimination, not group stages. But he had a pretty decent series there, and Skillus has been evolving recently. He's a king of the hallucinated Phoenix openings in this matchup. There's one criticism I'd have of Skillus as PvT right now. It's that it's kind of like Showtime's in that it's so good defensively, but sometimes he's sitting in his corner so long that it does... You know, when you're so passive, sometimes you let your guard down a little bit, and then they sneak in with something really dirty, and they catch you off, and they do some big damage. I guess I'd say the difference is that Showtime's even more practiced at being so, like, defensive and on point, whereas it feels like Skillus has become even more defensive in this patch because he's got so much faith in the power of those hallucinated scouts. And I do expect a sentry to go down in a little while, but he's actually opening up Stalker Twilight, so he's just going to optimize with the Twilight Council first. And it is going to be 2 Stalkers. Okay, very generic. So it's not going to be a scouting-heavy opening for Skillus in Game 1. I do like variety from Protoss players, and it looks like right now he's just optimizing. Reaper's going to get pushed back over there as well. Clem, of course, is a big favorite, but Clem has had moments where players just figure him out and find ways to crush him. I know Skillus actually... I want to say he beat Clem in one of the weekly cups sometime in the last month or two in a best of 3. I think he did... And then he barely lost a best of 5 to Hero, was it? Or something like that? I think it was the best of 5 finals where Skillus just barely lost to Hero. I think he beat Clem on the way to that. I could be wrong. Might be muddling it up with Showtime's recent awesome run. But point being, though, Skillus and Clem are good friends. They've been practice partners in the past as well. They know each other very, very well. And we will see how they go. Good to see the player cameras there as well. This is very early in the morning for Clem, guys. It's currently 12:21 in Paris, where he resides. Which is like waking up a normal functioning human at 3 a.m. Like right in the worst hours when they don't want to be awake, forcing them out of bed. I'm sure he's been hitting that coffee already, and wow, we've already got someone lagging. Is that me? I hope the players didn't feel that. I didn't see a lag screen pop up. Well, we are going to see the Hellions come in. Probes are pulled to that right side. Stalker's going to try to deal with it. 4 probes, 5 probes going down. Damn, this is a lot of damage. Oh, this is really bad. This is a really bad start for Skillus. Oh, my lord. Did you only have 2 gateway units? Well, he had a sentry as well, but... when you don't play with the wall off, I think he just got way too distracted by that Reaper, and no shield battery and no wall off equals a very successful 2 Reaper Hellion opening, followed up by a 4 mine drop. This is an opening I haven't been too fond of recently, but look at this. The Stalkers are going out to the left side to intercept any drops. They're too late. They're not going to see it. That medevac is going to be coming forwards. Hallucination is there. He's going to try and blink in with 4 Stalkers, run around, pick off workers. If he pulls his probes well enough, Skillus may be able to deal with this. But right now, the Widowmine drops boosting in. Clem is far ahead in this game. Let's see if he can carry it further. Whoa, leaving the probes just sitting there. I've seen a lot of this recently from top Protoss players is they pull half their probes and they leave the other half there. I absolutely cannot fathom why they do it because I think it's very dangerous. 9 probes going down there. Obviously, you don't want to lose too much mining time, and I think that's why players have swapped to this, but it makes it very, very difficult. The 4 Stalkers need big damage. They are finding big damage. To be fair, there's no units on him. There's 1 Raven and 1 Marine, but those Stalkers need to keep moving. Don't want to let yourself get surrounded there. He's going to go for a few more of these SCVs. The mining time alone is pretty big. If you can get the Raven, that'd be nice. He's going to get it. Raven does go down, and Clem here with no actual units. Oh, but he's got the Widow Mines coming in. Good spready at the last second there by Skillus, but losing 3 more probes does damage the medevac. Skillus has a 3rd Nexus almost finished. He can come back from this, but losing all 4 Stalkers and losing 20 workers is not great. He found the medevac down here, guys. He just got that medevac. All 4 mines have gone down. Clem, of course, in a very good position economically and with 3 barracks up, which means he has handled the chaos very well. Skillus starting this game from far behind. Now, interesting building placement. Normally, Clem builds a bit more of a wall off down here diagonally, but his tank instead has to go into a reserve safety position, and that doesn't defend these add-ons. Stim, the reactor, all these things are exposed. These Stalkers should get right up in there and be active. There is nothing to be lost from blinking into this main. The Observer's a little far back. He's going to blink in, go for the reactor. It's a lot of build time. Even though the actual resource investment isn't big, the build time does make a big diff. Slowing down those medevacs is going to slow down his mobility. Blinking in is crazy. Skillus right now. I think he realizes that he's behind and he needs to do damage. That can lead players to making instinctive, opportunistic plays that win them games, that they need to make those plays. It can also lead to a player essentially putting his foot into the bear trap, getting himself all mauled up, and that's what that little attack was. 2 Stalkers for 3 SCVs is not a good trade, and whilst he's chronoing his third base, you know, he can get his economy back to a decent spot. He's now stuck on 8-gate charge, at least for a little while. I wouldn't be surprised to see a Robobay go down any moment, but it's going to be hard to afford a Colossus transition and Zealot production. Got the Sentry getting refilled there with energy as well. Oh, I just got a crazy sound effect. What the hell was that? I guess I have a raid sound effect. Thank you for the raid there, Killjoy. Watching live. Appreciate it. Day 1 of PigFest. Just kicking off. 7 minutes ago, the very first game of PigFest. Group B. We are doing Group B first, ladies and gentlemen. And it looks like Clem's in a great spot. 2 Reaper Hellion nabbed him some damage. Widow Mine dropped with 4 mines. Did a bunch behind it. Got 20 probes. And whilst a 4 Stalker run by did good damage, I think it needed to do excellent damage. I do think if Skillus kept those 4 Stalkers alive, got maybe just 2 or 3 more SCVs, this is an entirely different game. I don't know if our producer's watching, but that's a deafening sound effect that just came through a second time. If we can get rid of that so that never plays again, that would be great. I don't know what that is. Medevacs flying past there on that side. We'll be able to cut that out for the YouTube viewers, so you guys can count yourself lucky. Not having nasty random Twitch alert sounds that for some reason are 10 times the volume they're meant to be. All right, Medevac Marine coming forward over there. Probes are getting picked off, dude. This is a beautiful drop, but the Zealots ambush the army. Oh, I do like the ambush idea. And he pulls back. If he can get the shields back on those Zealots, that's actually a really good move. The problem is these Marines have depowered a Gateway of Cybercore and a Twilight Council. Stalker Zealot sentries over there on the right side. Prism loading up Zealots on the left. Okay, Skillus right now has made the supply pretty good. The problem for him is the third Commencement is coming in. Clem's stabilizing in the long term. He doesn't need to go all in with this. He's in that sort of position that Kua knows so very, very well. Zealot drops get inside that main base. And it's going to hit a few SCVs. It's a good start. Clem's afraid to push right now because he saw Master Zealot, but I don't think Skillus has been reinforcing the Zealot count as well. All right, Bio coming forward. Zealot Sentry Stalker trying to do what it can do there. Trying to deal with this push. The Robo gets depowered. The Zealot Stalker coming in with the sentries. There's just not enough for them to deal with this big Bio Ball. The positioning for Clem is so good. That tank is somehow still alive in the back. It's been an excellent start to the day here for Clem. I think Skillus, you know, this game getting messy, it's always going to favor Clem over Skillus. And I think Skillus is going to want to look to clean things up, calm down the early game, and avoid that damage early on in the next game. All right, guys, continuing in here. Sorry, we just had to check something there really quickly. Probe coming forward, very early scout, not risking anything. You could argue that when you do this, you won't necessarily see an incoming engineering bay block, but he sends a probe down. He's going to go Nexus before core with a probe scout. 20 Nexus, interesting. Okay. And I think it's because he's seen no SCV scout. He says, well, if there's no SCV scout, let's go for it. Even if he goes for a Reaper, he's probably going to go check for proxies and hang around a little bit rather than go straight across the map. But going Probe Scout and 20 Nexus, usually considered a little bit greedy. Skillus, though, delaying the command center as well. Really nicely done. Gonna have to get on out of there now. There is an SCV heading across the map, so Clem actually does have a little bit of safety. Could try to build a bunker with that SCV, but it's already heavily damaged. We'll see how it goes. Second gas up there in the main base as well. Gate core. Second pylon on the natural. Reaper's coming up, Marine coming up behind it. Where is that factory? Should be going down momentarily. Clem wants that nice wall off to stop the blink-ins. And the Reaper's going to head straight across this map, but with a Stalker getting chronoed. So even with a Probe Scout, guys, so he's gone Probe Scout. He's gone 20 Nexus before Cybercore. And the Reaper still has bloody no time in the main to really kill probes, but he's going to hide? Oh, he thought about hiding to let the Adept Shade come out. Did not expect Nexus before core, though. Should have gone straight for those probes to have the best chance at getting some damage in. Twilight Council goes down after the Stalker. Looks like Skillus has moved away from the sentry opening. I think what's happened here in the meta between these two, let me fill in the holes. I think he's been doing a lot of Phoenix hallucination openings off sentry, has Skillus. And I think Clem is the kind of guy who just barrels at you, hits you with a really fast medevac, Marines, Widowmine, picks up, drops, does all sorts of fancy stuff. And I think that's something where at a certain point you say, I just need Blink and as many Stalkers as possible, as fast as possible, in order to stay safe. The problem I'm seeing here is it feels a little paranoid. I don't know if you agree with me, but this to me feels a little bit paranoid. Going for 2 Stalkers, straight Blink 2 games in a row. I mean, I like that it's off a Nexus before Core, so that is rather economic. And of course, he can wall off with a single unit in between these, so Hellions can't cause him problems like last game. Then again, it was unlikely Hellions were going to, since this is a 1-Rax expand. Only a single Hellion with a Reaper, factory starport, second barracks goes down. Interestingly, though, he built an extra depot before that. Not as optimized as you would think. Normally, you squeeze that barracks in, then you add the next depot. But Clem's building these depots ahead of time. Like, he's actually got a 10 supply gap. Uncharacteristic. Normally his builds are so tight, like he's always just hitting his supply cap and then the depot finishes. And he's just hitting his supply cap and the next depot finishes. This time, he's just giving himself a little bit more room for error. Just like something I'd coach a lot of players, a lot of average Joes out there to do. And I'd say, don't do what Clem does. Normally he cuts it too fine. But he's doing what the average Joes do now. It's kind of cool. 2 more barracks coming up. Raven's out. Tank as well. Hellion does deny the probe taking the 3rd. That's very annoying. He's going to find another probe here as well. And just these little pickoffs that Terran's getting. It's like, hey, give me some value. Yes, please. Reaper runs in. Was hoping to grab that probe, but it does get intercepted. And finally, the first little victory for Skillus. But 3rd base was already delayed. Now, arguably, that's actually not that bad, that delay. Because it was so early he wanted to go for it. It's still down at 4.5 minutes. It's kind of fascinating watching Clem. I was rewatching the finals of the last PiGFest. We had one of the most epic finals there. And watching Clem's face in that grand finals is so interesting because he's quite expressive. And I feel like there's moments where I look at Clem's face and I think, oh, he's mentally defeated or something. But then I look at what he's playing, what he's doing with his hands, and I'm like, no, he's still playing perfect StarCraft. Like, he's very expressive, often shows big reactions for small things. And, you know, he'll be shaking his head this way or that way. But for him, I mean, he plays so much and he just excels under pressure. Stalker's coming in for a little blinky blink. He's going to try to pick off a Marine. 1 Marine, but a lot of damage on these Stalkers. Not sure how worth that it is. 3 Stalkers deep in the orange and yellow. Of course, 3 more gateways. Charge come down. +1. Skillus in a pretty decent position, but remember, this is a Terran who's skimped on his defense. 1 tank only. 1 bunker. So he's not worried about 4-gate blink, and he's not really respecting it either. So Clem's done a great job of kind of scouting what he's up against, adapting to what he's up against, and realizing that there's not much of a threat here. Prism's going to go down to the south. Bio's just dancing. And when's that Robo Bay transition going to happen? Kind of scary to go to Colossus against Clem. I think a lot of players want to just mass Zealot, ambush him one time, and get him out of there. Harder to actually do that, though, than it is to imagine that happening. Interesting pylon for Skillus, guys. So that's just like a spotter pylon. And the Robo Bay does go down off of 3 gas, which has become more and more popular recently. I'm seeing so few players take that 4th gas with the Robo Bay, whereas it used to be those 2 things would always happen in conjunction. Does get a bunker snipe, which is denying the potential 75 mineral refund that he could have got. Stalkers trying to get a Marine, but such a low count, it's not really possible. Skillus taking a 4th. What in the world? Guys, there's Greed, and then there's Skillus. My lord, he's really... I mean, it's confident. I do admire the confidence. Marine, Marauder, and Raven chase after. He wasted a lot of his time. At least this buys time for Skillus to get another few Zealot Warp pins in. His Prism's ready to go in, but there's the double mine waiting. We've seen this double mine kill Max Pack's Prism about 7 times on this angle in this exact same position. We've got a couple of Marines, Marauders, a couple of Widow Mines going and boosting a lot across that south side. Here we go. Interference Matrix does try to go down. The Zealot's taking a little bit of damage there. We're going to have a week straight of awesome StarCraft, guys. Very excited for this. It is, of course, best of 5 qualification matches. This is still the best of 3. Once we get to the qualification matches, the winner's match and the decider match will both be best of 5. Zealot's getting cleaned up. Pylon's getting cleaned up. Clem right now is playing value man Terran. He was behind earlier and the units lost, but he's like, get these units, you know, get a probe here, get a probe there, get a pylon, get a few zealots. Gets the Raven though, does Skillus, and that's going to be nice. Bio on that side shouldn't be able to deal with that match Zealot Stalker. Skillus can blink out to deal with that if he wants to. He's taking his time for now. Probe does try to set off the Widow Mine, a little ambitious. Nice spready though on those Zealots to minimize the damage. Drop does pick up. Zealot's warping in, ready to run into the third. The Zealot Stalker blinks forward, does take out the mine. The medevac, I should say. But, oh no, his Robo's exposed. Oh, that's why I hate the Robo being in the wall. It's one of the most vulnerable tech structures out there. Stalker Zealot comes in. The Widow Mine's getting a few decent hits. Stalkers do dodge one of the shots with the blink. If he can catch this whole army, this is fine for Skillus, but... oh, there's no way. So many probes going down. If Clem can escape with a few of these medevacs, it'd be amazing as well. Continues to fight. Picks up at the last second. 3 medevacs getting out with a sizable chunk of units. Marines will run in on the north. Cannon will take out a few of these Marines with the help of the battery. Same time, though, more important is these units. If they can find more damage in the main, that'd be great. Clem's units finally getting cleaned up in that main base. At the same time, Marines over there take out the cannon. They get 3 probes. It feels like Skillus is on the ropes, and Clem just getting all over him. Nice and fast, and Skillus, a very defensive player, and I think this works against just about any other Terran, but Clem is made of sterner stuff, and if you give him an opening, he will take advantage, and I think the big mistake this game was Skillus was not able to track the army movement. He had this observer. I think after the Raven snipe, or even before that, if this observer had moved over to this pillar, it would have been a much more important part of the map, but Skillus was worried about army running down the bottom right. He needed to be worried about where that main army was, because it rotated all the way to the right side without him realizing. And that was what cost him. Basically, this whole position that he finds himself in now, it's purely off the back of getting caught out of position. Zealot does come in, takes out the Widow Mine. Marine's going to get sliced in half. Zealot takes a good bit of damage there. Armory only now coming in along with the 2nd Engineering Bay and 4th Command Center. You can see how delayed Clem is on that kind of late game tech, but no second forge, just single forge going for +3. There's no armor upgrades. Stargate's going down as well as second forge now, but I don't know. I feel like second Stargate and is a crazy choice in the situation that Skillus finds himself in. I don't think he can afford that. Mothership is not the Hail Mary to get you out of this game, I don't believe. I know he's a big believer in the Mothership, but I think it might be a little bit ill-founded his hope that could get him out of such a game. Now, the medevac count's very low, right? We can look at the units count and go, oh, there's 6, but remember, 3 of them are still stuck in the back of this main base, and Skillus looks like a Stalker maybe went down to a Widow Mine over there. There was 2 Widow Mines burrowed. 2nd Starport goes down, 3 more barracks. There's 0 pressure on the Terran in this game. His upgrades aren't great. 2-2's just now starting, but I think Skillus is the one who's just so far behind in supply. He's building a Void Ray. Oh, that's what this is for, because he wanted to get rid of these medevacs. Oh, I thought it was to go Mothership, but it's just to get rid of the medevacs, and perhaps a bit too much investment in bonus things. Oh, the Colossus pops out at the worst time. It just instantly gets bopped. Clem says, gotcha nose, except in this case, it's gotcha Colossus. And just like a baby that actually thinks their nose just got stolen by a large human, Skillus is wondering where his Colossus just got taken to. Because this game was the Colossus getting sniped, the Robo getting sniped, absolute nastiness. Clem just playing with Skillus right now. Skillus trying to absorb punches, and he's doing a good job of surviving. Surviving will not be enough against the world champion. Clem, he just comes in with such style, and once he gets going, it is an avalanche that is so hard to stop. We've seen so many games where we thought guys like Hero had Clem dead to rights, and they still could not finish him off, and he comes back and brings it back. We've seen so many games where Cyril, the greatest player of all time, has Clem completely dead. Well, maybe not completely dead, but massively behind, and Clem just drags himself out of the ashes. He's a player who is hard to put down, even when things are going your way. But when the early game goes against you like it did this time, it's difficult for Skillus to show us what he's come to this tournament to show. Of course, he won't be eliminated straight away, but remember, every series you lose in this tournament matters. If you can go undefeated in the groups, you essentially get an extra life in the playoffs leading into the finals, whereas if you only get the 2nd spot in the group, you do not have that extra life to start with. So it's very important to try to not drop a series. Every series matters here in PiGFest. There are no freebies. There's no, oh, I don't care about seeding, I'll just give this one away, because it will seriously impact your chances of winning the tournament. Colossus does get taken down. Dude, Skillus is scrapping right now. I'm so impressed. And I really wanted to give that context of like, hey, Skillus might look outmatched right now, but it's because, you know, he's fallen behind. He's only down 20 supply, and he's found room to start a 5th. He's got max pax-esque levels of confidence here. Plasma shields, +2 armor. +3's been done for a little while. He's got 2 more gateways coming in, as well as that Nexus. Like, this is kind of sick. Clem, of course, has a giant income at 72 probes, 4 bases. It's +3 attack starts as well. And, ooh, a couple of Stalkers go down to the EMP and the Stim Bio. Bio's going to rotate right. I don't think this is more of a distraction. Look at how small his army is. The double drop in the top left gets spotted, so he's going to try and snipe this Nexus and fade south. Planetary does defend the Zealot on that side. Zealot, Immortal, Stalker Sentry comes on down. Does save the Nexus. Skillus. He could remax here, maybe, just maybe, but he's rebuilding a Robo. He's rebuilt 2 Robos this game. He's trying to rebuild another one right now to get back to 2 Robo, and it's always an uncomfortable situation. 3 probes in the middle of the map. I think... Okay. Sorry, guys. I'm just wondering where they were growing the marijuana on this map, or... I mean, that's... It's like, what the hell were they doing, man? Okay, to be fair, I don't think marijuana is strong enough unless you're a person who thinks marijuana is going to make you jump out of a window or something. But anyways, Bio coming forward on the right side. A few Zealots do get taken out. The probes are trying to pull back there, but a lot of them go down. More Stalkers warping in to try and defend. The Bio's double or triple stim. Colossus very low. Ball comes forward. Good dodge for Clem, but he will not be perturbed. The moment the Disruptor runs out, he immediately turns around, gets back in. Those 3 gateways have been depowered. Another Robo! Is it going to get sniped? No, this time the army's too close, so he's not clicking on the Robo. But looks like those Vikings going after the Colossus. It goes down. Lots of probes falling at the same time. Skillus just does not have the numbers. Yet another Robo does go down. And that's been a Robo slaughterhouse here. This series started with just 2 Hellions killing like 6 or 7 probes. A nasty start, but Clem, when he gets going, he really gets going. You really... Clem, if you're in a race against Clem, guys, and you're in one of those B-grade movies, let's just... You gotta slash his tires before the race starts. You gotta use some nasty tricks, throw some spike traps on the road, break all the rules, empty his fuel tank before the race starts. You do not want to let this man play a straight-up game. GG, well played. Clem crushes his opening match. Alright. What's up, gang? We've got Vitality ZOUN in the bottom left side of the map. We've got Rogue in the top right. It's a Zerg versus a Protoss right now to kick off our second match in Group B. And we are seeing some very creative player cameras there. I mean, it's amazing. We're going to fix that up after this game, guys. Right now, we have the top half of Rogue's head and the bottom half of ZOUN's face from the Void. Apparently, he's a true Protoss there, as he's playing from inside the warp, I guess, which is good, because when you're inside the warp, you can, like, instantaneously communicate with any other species using Kala magic, so it makes sense. I mean, obviously, that's the intelligent place to play a StarCraft tournament from. It is, of course, the $7,000 tournament as I'm casting this, hopefully $10,000 tournament prize pool, as we are still crowdfunding. Anyone can contribute here on my stream until the end of the tournament is up. And it's going to be a fun one. Rogue has looked fantastic recently. He destroyed Clem. And Clem's in this group waiting in the winner's match, remember, guys. So he destroyed Clem 3-0 the other week. I think it was last week. So he's one of the big hopefuls. ZOUN also beat Clem many times a few months ago. And Clem has specifically said he doesn't like playing at ZOUN because ZOUN hides information really well. So I feel like you've got Clem, a guy who we kind of go, well, maybe Cyril and Max can beat him. And who else? I don't know, man. Maru's out of form. Who else is going to possibly do it? Dark can't really take him down at the moment. Beyond struggling so hard against him in TVT. But these two are actually some of the bigger favorites for people who can actually take down Clem in a best-of-5 series. I'm curious to see who comes out on top, because if it was a month ago, I would say Rogue is like a 2% chance to beat ZOUN, because his Zerg vs Protoss looked appallingly bad. But he's had some great Zerg vs Terrans, a few good ZVZs since then. I think he's had a few good ZVP scalps as well, but I haven't seen the games. So I'm really unsure where Rogue Zerg vs Protoss is at, and I think there'll be big improvements from what I last saw. Depths are going to come in. ZOUN. Oh, the Lings are all in the main base. Uh-oh. Spore Crawler tricks to stop the drones going down, despite that one drone pops and goes down anyway. And, oh, he loses that one, sends the drone around. Those Lings, I'm surprised the Lings stayed so far away there for so long, hiding them back. Building 11 Zerglings and then still losing that many workers is a big mistake. You're meant to pull your queen down to attack those Adepts, and then you're meant to split the Lings between both bases, but Rogue was a little greedy, kept all his Lings in the main, and he gets punished for it. 2 Spore Tricks and 2 drone losses is rather meaningful this early on. Third Nexus goes down for ZOUN. He's got 2 Adepts there, Stalker in the wall. Twilight Council goes down nice and early. Now, a lot of players, that Twilight Council being that early, would be for something very aggressive like a Glaive Adept, but I don't think it means that, because I've seen ZOUN do this before, where he just goes very quick blink, so that his first 8 Stalkers can start harassing the Zerg really early on. People are wondering, what has motivated Rogue to practice so much again recently? There is a theory in chat. They've said Rogue has realized just how many MapleStory dollars he can buy. How much in-game currency for buying MapleStory items. His favorite MMO. The rumors are that he plays a lot more MapleStory than he does StarCraft, and has consistently for the last decade, and StarCraft is basically a way of funding his MapleStory addiction. I don't know how true that is, but I like to imagine it's true because it's funny. The Adepts are getting surrounded. Oracle's only going to get 1 drone in the main. The Adepts aren't really finding too much. Oh, he's going to get a drone. Oh, and the Oracles are going to get more. Wow, okay, this felt like a good hold initially, but 5 drones go down. I think you're okay with losing 2 Adepts for that, especially since the Oracles are still very, very healthy. Didn't he himself admit to spending $40,000 on MapleStory? Oh, really? Dude, if that's true, you guys have got to get me a source for that. I will report on that. But that is very exciting if so, because that is true degeneracy. People say that video games aren't gambling, but there are a lot of video games that are either gambling or just straight up crack to a lot of gamers. I'll never forget the Pure Ownage episode with when he discovers World of Warcraft after looking down on it, and decides he doesn't need to eat or drink food or water anymore while he is entranced by the addictive nature of the MMO. Adepts coming forward. That was an accidental drone rally. Rogue does fix it right now. He's going Evo Chamber Baneley Nest. He wants to play Hydraling Bane, which is kind of crazy. Rogue's a big fan of skipping roaches in this matchup. What is going on with his drone rally, guys? He's rallying drones through the middle of the map consistently. I'm very confused. Rogue's got to clean this up right now. It's a drone scout pig. What are you born yesterday? Adept's going to shade forward. Oh, Rogue with the 300 IQ Spore block. I like it. He did actually end up going Glaives, by the way, with this. It's not a crazy committed Glaive attack because he was, even though he was on 4 gateways, it's not a huge number. But having no Banelings, this is a big mistake, I feel like. The drones are going to try to drill over here to escape. Does lift the Spore Crawler to let them through. And Rogue trying to skip the Roach Warren. Trying to still skip Banelings is crazy. I'm amazed that he's still skipping Banelings. I mean, Rogue is doubling down on, like, look, my Banelings weren't ready. I'm not going to build them now. We're just going to defend this with Ling Queen. Stasis Trap on the right side. Queen's over there. Gets himself a few gas drones. It's not terrible. Nothing too scary. And the Lings trying to deal with these Adepts, but the Adepts get a good angle. Oh, the Lings on the backside of those Adepts do get good damage, though. If you can get a few more Lings behind the mineral line, that would be nice. Not many Queens, though, to add range damage. The Adepts do get blocked there by that Spore Crawler. These drones back to mining, but Rogue is just taking so many losses on the mining, and ZOUN's got 6 gases, 70 workers. Storm, +1, 4th Nexus starting. And it just feels like there's been enough delays and distractions that Rogue is definitely reeling. Chat's angry that I said lift. Uproot is the term, apparently, guys. Is uprooting not lifting yourself out of the ground, guys? Sorry, guys. Same thing that happens when I read YouTube comments. I read a comment from yesterday's YouTube video today. Read some comments. There was 2 saying, "You're insane. That was the worst commentary I've ever heard. What the hell were you doing?" And then there was like a few comments saying it was the best commentary they'd ever heard. Sometimes feedback shouldn't be read too much or taken too seriously, I think. I think I'm gonna allow myself to ignore the nitpicking in this case, Twitch chat. Oracles are coming forward. Lings and Hydras are there. Lurkaden Infestation, second Evo coming up. He's pushing it back. Dude, I feel like Rogue's gonna force late game, which is really good if you're way better than your opponent in late game. Problem, he's Zerg. ZOUN's Protoss. That's number 1. We know Protoss is better in late game. Arguably pre-patch, definitely post-patch with the Mothership change and the Tempest also being 1 less supply. Point 2, it's ZOUN, man. ZOUN's a great Tempest Storm disruptor sort of guy. Back from when disruptors were good in this matchup. He can just do that without the disruptors. He'll add immortals in and stuff. Like I do think He's pretty exceptional at that stage of the game. And I think how many queens we got? 7. Part of me is wondering if Rogue's going to try and do Microbial Shroud. If it's carriers, I think Microbial Shroud works, but I think most Protoss players know to not bother with carriers. They just go Tempests, and Microbial Shroud's not going to work against that. Microbial Shroud is one of those spells the Infestor has that no one uses. Throws down an orange pile, a blob on the ground. It does now stick to units, so when they leave it, they do get a few seconds of protection. Reduces air damage by 50%, which is really nice if your opponent stands and fights you near the orange blob with just air units, but of course storms usually land on that orange blob and kill everything inside it anyway. Storms, Stalker, trying to pressure. Tempest production, Immortals coming in. Immortals good against Lurkers, amazing against Ultras as well. Now, some people refer to the Microbial Shroud as a Storm Beacon. It's basically you telling the Protoss player where to place their Psy Storm. Now that it attaches to your units after they move out of it for a few seconds, it's a bit better. Nice pick off. Blinks forward, gets a Lurker. Just not enough support there to stop that sort of move. Zealots on the top left do go down. Mothership's on the way. I think Rogue would have much rather win earlier, but because of that messy early game and those Adepts catching him off guard, he's now kind of playing this different style, where he's saying, all right, we'll go late game. I'll play double, triple upgrades even, Spire, Ultra Cavern. And there's a few ways you can win in late game. Generally, you want the Protoss to move on creep and get their army surrounded. If they do, and you kill all the High Templar with Ultras or Lurkers, Corruptors will kill anything in the skies. The problem is, that's much harder to pull off against a top player who's cautious. And especially if he sees a lot of Lurkers, or even especially Ultralisks, you will see ZOUN build Immortals. He's even building extra Robos, so he can reactively build plenty of Immortals. And Ultra's very cute unit, but remember, Transfuse not as good as it once was. And those Ultras are not going to be fighting carriers, which is where they do their best work. Oh, Storm's really nice on those Zerglings. Clearing them. Looks like he's just clearing supply as Rogue. Gets a few more Ultralisks in the mix. But only 2 Immortals right now. If ZOUN builds 2 more Immortals, if he has 4 or 5 Immortals, I think he's really well set up against the Ultras. But for him, it's a scouting issue right now. Rogue's at least keeping him pinned in his side of the map. And you're gonna need to realize that there's Ultras out there before you move forward. He's also forcing a lot of Zealot warp-ins, so by being active with your army, you can make the Protoss build some kind of low-tier units that aren't going to be as good in a big maxed-out battle. But Immortals are continuing. Second Cybercore air weapons. I wouldn't be surprised to see Plasma Shields after +3 attacks finishes. We've got Spines, drones. Rogue's playing slow against a Protoss player, guys. This is something I've only seen Serral win this in the last 5 months. Has anyone seen a non-Serral late-game Zerg victory in the last 5 months against, I mean, at pro level? I honestly can't think of one I've seen. Now, to be fair, that's because most games Zerg knows that they're not favored there, so they just all in before they get to that point. Apparently, Rogue won some late games against Classic. Okay, so he does have really good late game then, because Classic's a good late game player as well. It's a good surround, good value. Stalkers are not cheap units. Look at that, ties up the unit's loss tab. He was down a few thousand there. Archon's getting surrounded. Uh-oh. This is really good value, and he stops +2. Okay, all right. Rogue with Ultra Hydra, Heart of the Swarm called, and they want their unit compositions back, guys. Ultras get a High Templar down here as well, but Mama is going to come in, and those Ultras wisely pull away from the Immortal Tempest. Still got those Ultra Hydra active on the left side of the map, but with an Ultralisk there, not so sure. Frenzy is available, aka Nanomuscular Swell, or as Thrust as I like to call it, and the Hydras do thrust away after taking out that unit. Ultras running forward with the Overseers, but looks like on that side I see 1 dead Stalker, 3 dead Ultralisks. Doesn't look like a good trade for them. We are on the Korean server, by the way, guys. Between these two, of course, so no real ping between the two, but those of us commentating from other continents may occasionally get a lag spike. Lings going in on that left side. They will get a decent wraparound. The Immortal Stalker do poorly against them. Ultra gets some good damage. Archon does go down. Central base does get sniped, and that's the main advantage of Protoss on this map, is you can deny these middle bases pretty much forever. And as long as Zerg never gets to mine these 2 middle bases, Protoss wins in the long game. But you should not be pushing as Protoss right now. And notice how Rogue's stressing him out, keeping him multitasking. And Ultra does get chased down on that side. But I think pushing in 2 sides at once is going to potentially allow Rogue to group up and jump on this army. And that's what you do not want to have happen at all. Mothership does try to cloak. Yes, you've got some Storm. You don't have much anti-Ultra or anti-Lurker. But, oh, dude, Rogue forgot detection. I was like, what is Rogue? Why is he trying to run around like a headless? Oh, he doesn't have detection. He didn't have any overseers there, so throws away a few units, unfortunately, and he's out of bank right now. He is down 4,000 in the trading as Zound takes the central base. It's going to give him a nice launching pad to deny this one, and it feels like late game, is especially Protoss favored on this map. I think this map's very fair early on in the mid game, but you get to late game when the Protoss has the range superiority with Tempest and whatnot, they do really well. Oh, dude, Zerglings plus 2/2 with Adrenal, goes for the surround. 4 Immortals. Wow, he gets 4 Immortals. Remember, Immortals are expensive. Can you guys remind me, are Immortals back to being 250 minerals now? I think they are, right? I still think of them as being 275, but I think they're back to 250, but the attack speed got nerfed. So that's 350 total, because 250 minerals, 150 gas times 4. Damn, that is a lot. That's a lot of value, those Immortals. You can throw away like 100 Zerglings for 4 Immortals and feel good. He only lost about 20. Rogue's playing really good active StarCraft. I haven't seen a player kind of pick apart a Protoss player like this in a long time. I think you need High Templar with Storm on your offlane squad, which is these guys. This is the offlane squad. Oh, stray Ultralisk. Wanders into the wrong part of town. The High Templar, though, he never refilled them with energy. Oh, he gets the energy now! But he doesn't storm. Okay, he storms on the north side. A little bit too late, though. Should have had that storm ready ahead of time. Zound with a slight mistake. Same time, Lurkers, though, sieging the bottom and sieging the high ground. Wow. Can he get a lot, though? Nah, Oracle tag. Oracle secondary tag. Beautiful cleanup there for Mr. Zound. 5 Infestors are in the way, as well as 6 Broodlords. Now, Broodlords, of course, guys, are excellent for making your opponent waste attacks. They will chip at your opponent's units very, very slowly. It's hard to do more than that. I really miss the days of ZVP being about running around with Ultraling Hydra, Ultraling Bane Hydra, and constantly tech switch into Broodlords, tech switch back to Ultra Viper Hydra. It's something I haven't seen in a long time, because normally the base count is too high. There's too much cannon battery, Psystorm dealing with your Lings and your small units, and then the Ultras get dealt with by the Immortals. But Rogue's just done such a good job here. He gets another Nexus site. I'm so happy. I am so happy, guys, because, you know, everyone's been complaining so much about this matchup in the late game, saying it's just nothing that Zerg can do against Protoss. And I've also been like, well, it's clearly, you know, Protoss favored. But to see Rogue just getting really creative with his army movement on it, I would say this map's very cramped later on, which really favors Protoss. You've got exposed middle bases, also favors Protoss, and despite that, Rogue is putting up a really good fight. Will it be enough, though? His corruptor count is low. The Ultras get jumped on. A bunch of the Ultras go down. There's still one Immortal in the back there firing. A bunch of Immortals on the front line died very quickly, but that is going to be, I think, a good enough fight there for the Protoss player. 5,000 resources, 7 units lost. Corruptors do have how many upgrades? They've got +2 attack. No armor just yet. And it is, of course, +2 attack with the plasma shields coming in as well for the air units of ZOUN. His ground units have 3-2-1 upgrades. Denies the middle base yet again, and as I said, this is always the problem on ley lines. I think on a bigger map, if this was a site Delta or something from the previous season, I actually think Rogue might be just picking ZOUN apart. But on this map, you're defending your base with cannon battery and securing the middle and denying the middle at the same time. And even though you lost all these bases, I mean, the gas right now is tragic, right, for ZOUN. He desperately needs gas. But his army's big. He can add a few zealots to harass and just waste time, and he can slowly remax on better units. Now, unfortunately, he is making what we call the terrible error, guys. He's building a carrier. Carriers are the best unit ever if you're below a certain level, and the worst ever above a certain level. It's not terrible to have a few carriers in your army for generic damage output and to confuse your opponents a little bit with the interceptors, but I'd say any more than 2 or 3 is almost always a mistake. He's going to make just 2 for now. The problem is they're hard countered by the Corruptors, and usually they're just fighting the Corruptors, and the Corruptors +2 base armor is really nice. In their favor, there's no air armor upgrades, and none on the way because Rogue is just a bit too poor for it, having lost those middle bases. So I think if he had air armor upgrades, it would be really bad. But if you have +3 carriers, I mean, they will actually shred no armor upgrade Corruptors. He actually, in this particular upgrade scenario, I actually think mass carrier would do just fine. Zealots coming forward on the south. Changeling scouting the middle. Lurkers will be burrowing up here. Zound does not care about these Zealots at all. Just forcing these gas units, though, around the edges. Rogue just trying to cement these kind of edge positions as base number 7 comes up for Zound. 4 Immortals right now, 4 High Templar. So the Immortals are your anti-Ultra squad. Notice there's only 1 Ultra on the map. There are 12 Lurkers, and they help against that as well. Lurker, Ultra, Hydra coming up. But look, the main army here for Zound denies the middle hatchery. He's going to try and cut off these units. They're skirmishing with the Zealot Stalker. Ooh, get out of there, Zound. Zound gets an Ultralisk, but all those Zealots get chopped. Lurker on the high ground once again. Rogue being very annoying. But what's the winning play? That's what we've got to ask ourselves for Zound, for Rogue, sorry. Rogue's whole strategy right now is like, I'm going to be really annoying. I'm going to snipe bases. I'm going to catch you out of position. But you got to look at this and say, okay, Zerg's running circles around Protoss, picking off bases, trying to find little engagements. But like, how does one ever engage this? This blob right here, guys, is the thing that Zerg pro gamers have nightmares about. They look at this blob, and it's like trying to beat up your bully when his mum and dad are there. And they're like, how dare you try and hurt my poor lovely Jimmy? He's such a nice boy. I mean, mum's just there. You can't even fight back against the kid that's been relentlessly bullying you because mum's in the room. You gotta wait for her to leave. But how do you get her to leave? Because no one's doing the aggressive recalls anymore. Zound is basically hugging his mum's legs, you know, like a very intelligent Protoss player, to be honest. It's how he should be playing if he enjoys winning. That's kind of the way to do it. Gonna get 2 Lurkers and blink away as Zound. All right, so we got 20 Corruptors, 3 Ultras, 2 more building, 5 Infestors, 2 Vipers. Now, guys, keep in mind, Ultras wreck all Protoss ground units if you land Fungal Blinding Cloud on the Immortals, so they can't attack. And when they do attack, it's only against the single Ultra that's in melee range with them, right? Which they won't be able to kill on their own. So all you need as Rogue is just Fungal Blinding Cloud the entire army, hit it from 2 sides with Ultras so they're not stuck behind each other, come in behind with the Ultra, with the Corrupted Broodlord. I don't know what's so hard about that, but Zerg players keep complaining. Drone's trying to run away right now. Lurker's getting jumped on. Great little break. Another base snipe goes down. This is a good attack in the south. There's a few cannons, but remember, most of the cannons are in the north. They're not here. That Lurker sieges on the high ground just north of this again. Ultra's trying to jump forward. Stalkers will maybe eventually deal with this. But Zound, does he not have a Dark Shrine? Oh, he doesn't have a Dark Shrine. Normally you'd use Dark Templar to defend this. Broodlord's defending this base at the same time. Rogue's base count is very low, but he's doing some nice economic damage. Observer Stalker will take care of the Lurker. Blinking forward to dodge the first volley, and they do get rid of that bad boy. Units lost tab 8,000 in favor of Zound. As I said, I think a lot of players might panic and screw up and throw this game with all the pressure Rogue's put on them. But I think right now, Rogue's digging for mistakes, and Zound's giving him a few small mistakes, but no big ones, no game-winning mistakes, right? And all those mistakes have now been recovered from. Zound's got incredible upgrades. He's staying active with little Zealot Stalker squads, keeps denying bases with his main army, and he just never gives an opportunity for Rogue to kind of flank and engage that front army, which is the main thing that you got to do. Yeah, I was for those who don't understand sarcasm, I was joking about all you need for Ultras to beat the Protoss ground army. The point is, if you've got this Protoss ground army, it's meant to counter the Ultras. And it does, but there are very technical moves Rogue could pull off to still make this work. And he's playing so good, dude. I feel like 8,000 resources behind is like not that bad. Like the unit, the banks are relatively even. Normally as Zerg, you want a fair bit more in the bank. But it's like, you just need to up the stress level. These Ling run bys are so good. Stalkers are really bad against this. If these Lings focus these cannons down, that'd be great. Rogue not watching though for a second. One has to wonder where the Dark Shrine is. Usually DTs force Overseers. And sending Overseers in with these attacks just so much harder for the Zerg, so much less fluid. 9 more drones just went down. Rogue will be replacing some of them. Gonna try and burrow behind the base. Not the most secretive. Little obvious what he was going for there. Wouldn't be surprised to see more cannons come down, but Zound's multitasking. He didn't even notice. All right. Probes are going to get thrown into the meat grinder. Zound has decided, guys, he's a big fan of Neeb. He loves America. And the Fist and Neeb, the greatest Protoss strategy of all time. He saw it beat Rogue in 2016 BlizzCon, was it? I think it was 2016 BlizzCon, right? It was actually Neeb against Rogue where he did the Fist of Neeb. Fist of Neve, for those who don't know, is a famous strategy where it got so late game and stalemated between Rogue and Neve that Neve sacrificed all but 2 workers. So we had 198 army supply. I know people say it was 200. Maybe it got to 199. I remember it wasn't 200. It was like 198 or 199 army supply. And we thought Protoss armies were hard to beat when they were about 120 to 140. But yeah, it was obscene. It was like enough Carrier, Storm, Immortal Archon to blot out the sun. And yeah, the Rogue's army did not hold up well against it. And everyone went, freedom, America, yeah, yeah. Dun, 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 dun. And then they rematched because it was GSL format and Rogue dumpstered him with a bunch of clever Rogue attacks in the following series and was like, yeah, I'm not dealing with the Fist of Neve again. And, you know, Rogue did Rogue things, right? I think I'm remembering that tournament correctly. It has been 9 years, guys. Maybe someone will correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. Nice abducts there on the Oracles. Army's poking forward. Broodlord count's good. Not many spores here. Normally you want to have a good 15, 20 spores to deal with those interceptors, help you out. Broodlord snipe for ZOUN. That's what ZOUN's going to do. So basically, guys, this is about vision. ZOUN's going to keep tagging the army with his oracles, but notice the oracle went down. So he has to build a new oracle, bring it up, and use it to tag. Whenever he doesn't have that vision, it's going to be hard. And notice he moves a single High Templar forward to feed back the Vipers. Now, what Rogue's going to do is he's going to stack these Overseers with his Corruptor Viper hotkey. So when he runs forward, it's going to be very hard to feed back the Viper, because you're accidentally going to be clicking on these other energy units, these Overseers. So that's you know, he is the Overseer King. It also lags your opponent's computer. So this is also the I have a better computer than you build. If you bring enough Overseers and mass changelings, it's actually a really good way to win against people who are playing on integrated graphics. Their computer will explode. Tempest trying to dance back and forth here. Changelings going forward. Oh, he doesn't have Tectonic Destabilizers. Good point from the chat there. He's just started that upgrade. It literally doubles their damage against buildings. Goes from 40 to 80. I know a lot of players remember to get that really well against Terran because they use it to snipe planetaries. Infestor does get taken down. And look at this revelation. But the Corruptors are going to grab an Observer. Feedback does land on the Viper. You got to keep those Vipers stacked in the middle so it's harder to do that. He does. Just kind of runs forward to scare those Tempests back. Oh, another couple feedbacks on the Infestors and Vipers. But the High Templar do go down. Those moves aren't free. It's just, you're always, gas is such a prized resource and such shortage. It's hard to replace those Infestors. Only 2 remain right now. Now you might think, why attack this base? There's no resources. Clearing territory is actually quite useful because it gives you easier avenues to attack into the bases behind. So I actually quite like this. And remember, Zerglings with 3/3 and Adrenal actually destroy Zealots because 40% attack speed is kind of a crazy upgrade. But there was only like 8 Zerglings against 3 Zealots, so not a good numbers-wise matchup there. Ten Broodlords, 29 Corruptors, 5 Infestors, 2 Vipers. Rogue has always been a very entertaining player, but I feel like lately he's stepped it up a notch. He's really motivated right now. People are saying that Maple Story balance is empty and he's got to fill it up, and maybe that is what it takes to bring back Premier World Championship winning Rogue. Nothing more motivating than an empty Maple Story balance, I've heard. I have no idea what you use your Maple Story balance to buy, by the way, in that game. Ling's coming in. Changeling's going through the middle, right-hand side. Broodlord's coming forward as well. Three more Stargates coming in. ZOUN's just rebuilding his Remax potential in case he gets caught out. He's building insurance, and I think the long-term goal is you should try to deny this base, because it really should be easy to deny this base. I think this is probably the biggest mistake I would say that ZOUN's making. But because he doesn't know where the army is, he's really paranoid. And he's just trying to deal with these Changelings, because if the Changelings get too much vision, he could be in problem. Ooh, ZOUN. Does he notice it? Midas in the back door. I mean, he doesn't have any units, right? All he can do is pop out Lings in the main. No Dark Shrine does make that kind of effective. Tempest taking down a lot of drones here. Couple of Zealots going to try to defend. That is a lot of Zerglings. He's going to have to recall some units to defend. A couple of Archons and a Carrier will shut this down. I am surprised, though, there's no cannons on the back edge. You'd think he'd have that. Right now, we're looking at Rogue's vision. He's got a few changelings here. Those changelings going down. He's going to keep trying to click them in. Changeling in the main goes down. On the other hand, ZOUN's vision. Got oracles, observers. His observers sieged up really far, actually giving him a lot of information. Zealot finds the southern base as well. Income. It's way ahead for ZOUN because his bases are just so much less bothered, so much less harassed. And for Rogue, it's just a game of survive and manage to mine these middle bases. If you can do it, there's a path to victory. If you can't get those bases, it's going to be tough. You might be wondering, why is he size storming? It's very hard to click on every single changeling while managing everything else and not getting caught. Remember, right now the probe does see the army, funnily enough. He's got probes trying to kill infestors. Broodlords just need to A-move just once. Well, nope, not going to. Really wants to let those probes live. Okay, Rogue with a lot of move commands there. Interesting. Oh, Zound a little slow to respond here. Does land a storm eventually. And the battery cannon Zealot Storm should be able to defend. But dude, Adrenal Zerglings are so good. Oh my lord. They truly are. Like, people sometimes ask, they're like, what does Zerg have for late game? And it's unironically Zerglings. Zerglings are like the special source. It's like you can have like 13 supply of Zerglings, sometimes kill 30 supply of Protoss or Terran units in the right situation once you get max upgrades. But when they're attacking into a choke point, suddenly they're not as good. Tempests. So I want to explain this a little bit more to everyone because a lot of people probably don't understand. Essentially, the long range. Well, I guess I will. When Zound finally deals with this, he sends a few Archons and an Immortal. The Zealots did a good job holding and stopping himself from losing too many probes. Oh my gosh, 4 cannons. Shooting so many of those phase disruptors at them. Very nice. Is that what a cannon's attack called? Phase disruptor? I feel like it is. Anyways, basically, you've got longer range of the Tempest. You got 14 anti-air range, 10 anti-ground range. If you can just shoot, pull back, you will win. Now, if the Fungal lands, if the Abducts land, suddenly you're stuck fighting. Zerg army, I would say, is better. If you both just stand there and just both throw your spells, I think the Zerg army might be better. I mean, I don't know. If you clump up for Storm, obviously Storm kind of kills everything as well. But point being, you both have very good armies, but the moment one of you lands a Storm on the clumped up units, they disappear. The moment Fungal Blinding Cloud lands, your units are just really ruined. Parasitic Bomb in the middle of the air units can be big as well. But it's Heavy Carrier. There is now only air armor +1. Oh, that's a big oversight, guys. That's a really big oversight. I think he needs better upgrades than that. Counterattack for Zound. Throws away some Zealot Archon Immortal. Does lose those units. He's going to try and morph more Archons up top to defend the counterattack. Same time, Night Swarm does go down in the main base. I'm surprised he hasn't scattered a few cannons around his main, to be honest. So those Nidus attempts aren't going to stop anytime soon. Oh, Broodlord's coming forward. He storms the Broodlings, guys. Could do that again to try to slow down this advance, but those Broodlords, they are throwing out the babies very quickly, and many pylons and cannons drop. Tempest managed to take out a Broodlord, corrupt his dance forward, but they have to pull back. And this is just working the range advantage and the vision advantage that the Oracles can give you potentially as well. Rogue's trying to counteract it in a very, he's very Rebel style, right? He's like, all right, we're going to send Changelings in. We've got our spies, but like this, the Death Star's in the middle there, right? It's got a bunch of Star Destroyers around it. It's got that giant Omega Star Destroyer that they friggin' kill at the end of Return of the Jedi, and it crashes into the side of the Death Star. You guys know what I'm talking about. It's like, you got a few little guys. You got to be clever. You got to use, some way to get info. Nice Fungal. Traps a few High Templar. Broodlords are going to try to commit. Rogue, though, is he being overconfident? Yes, he is. He goes into Time Warp. He's lost his cool. He's clumped up. He's diving on top into Storm Archon. He's taking out a lot of these units. I don't think he killed all the High Templar. 2 more High Templar come in. He was not expecting those backup High Templar, and their Storms absolutely ravage him. The Broodlords die in a Side Storm as well. Rogue, he thought he caught out all of the High Templar, but there was still 2 or 3 more behind. He doesn't even bother remaxing. He knows that was not good enough. All right, guys, Rogue at the bottom left side of the map. I think he's got to clean things up for the next one. Rogue is clearly very high level in the late game, but you just don't want to be playing that stage of the game against a Protoss player right now. In the current meta, you want to get stuff done earlier, and that comes off of the back of having a clean opening. And I really feel like Rogue has clearly leveled up his Zerg versus Protoss, just from looking at that last game. But not his early game, right? His early game looked good, Well, no, it looked okay. It looked decidedly okay for a player of his caliber, a former world champion and that sort of stuff. I wouldn't really rate it that highly, because if you think about it, remember he left all his lings in the main, took 5 drones to the first Oracle to Adept, double Oracle to Adept pressure. Not crazy game-ending damage, but it was something he could have minimized, could have taken a few less there. So that was, I think, the first kind of error for Rogue. And then the second one was basically trying to skip Roachmore and go straight Baneling Nest, and then refusing to build Banelings for the Glaive Adepts, which I think cost him way more damage. If he made Banelings the moment the nest finished, I think he has a way better time in that last game. And he doesn't have to just turtle up to late game, which is not what you want to be doing. So I'm really curious to see, because he still gave ZOUN an incredibly hard run if he can clean up the early game. And I know I harp on about this a lot when I cast Rogue, Dark, Zeril, every Zerg player at the moment. I'm like, when a matchup's not going well for your faction, the early game details become extra important. Because if you do fall behind, it can be a bit of a slippery slope, especially if you feel like the other faction is just massively favored over you in the late game. A massive thanks to Sacravenom there, tossing $50, directly into the PiGFest prize pool. Big appreciation to the community who fund these tournaments and allow us to keep on doing what we're doing for StarCraft, which is basically hanging out, shouting at guys who are very good at the game, and basically just handing them the money that you guys crowdfund. So thank you so much. Every single dollar goes towards the prize pool. We don't keep a single dollar we do. Thank you very much. Depth does go forward on the left side. Remember, this map does have a healing shrine over there. It's Persephone. It's only a best of 3, but it'll be best of 5s for the qualification matches, guys. But best of 3s, remember, every single series matters. If you lose even one best of 3, you cannot get first place in the group. And that means you are going to be in for a spot of bother in the playoffs. No second life in the first 2 rounds. Normally, once you get to the semifinals, it is sudden death. There are no extra lives. There is no, second bracket, essentially. The way the format works, if you do get first out of your group stage, you get an extra life in that first round. You can speedrun your path to the semifinals, potentially. Depp does get 2 drones, gets out as well. So yet again, pretty damn good damage, guys. I don't think Rogue's happy with this. Remember, these tiny details add up. He's got to shut down the next wave. If he can kill these 2 Adepts, this would be excellent. And great play. Gets rid of one of them immediately. Second one's going to kill a few Zerglings, but it'll go down. Super worth. Or even pulled back a weak Zergling to minimize the damage, so he only lost 1 more. Great play there by Rogue. Makes up for the fact that he lost the 2 drones. That's really important. I'd love to see that Rogue against Clem match. Oh, look at that! Oh, ZOUN screws it up. ZOUN making 2 crucial mistakes there. Number 1, not focusing the same drones. And number 2, letting his Oracle completely stop moving. For those who don't know, you can see the Oracle is very fast when it's moving, but if it completely stops, it takes a while to accelerate and get going. So whenever you're microing an Oracle, even when you stop to shoot a unit, you want to very quickly give it a move command in between the attack animations. If you don't do that, it's going to stop, and once it stops, it's like... I think most of us could probably relate to having a friend when you're young who has that real old crapbox car, and you guys are driving somewhere, and you never know if you're going to get to the destination. It's always an adventure, which is fun in itself, especially when you're young. But, you never know if you're going to get to the destination, and God forbid the car ever stops moving, because it might not start again. And that's essentially the Oracle. It's just so slow. It's like, oh, okay, guys, we got a red light. Okay, get ready to get out and push, because we're going to need to push when the light goes green to get it going again. Glaive Adapt is on the way very early again. Zound's like, dude, Rogue is so greedy, let's punish him. This time Rogue is less, and he's on essentially elimination point. He has got that Roachhorn coming on up. The Adept's trying to clear vision, but actually a nice ring with these Zerglings. It's kind of recessed. It's a little further back, but that one gets found anyway. Oracle on the right side does take out a creep tumor. Wave Adepts is about to finish, guys. Here we go. 10 Adepts will be moving across this map. Wouldn't be surprised if he warps in 4 more and follows up with that as well. ZOUN has got a nasty surprise. And oh no, Zerglings are being built. Rogue, he's not building roaches. Oh no, he has no idea what's happening. Oh, and he's going for an infestation pit. Rogue has no idea what's happening right now. And he is in for a nasty surprise. Rogue is about to get hammered by Adepts 2 games in a row. I guarantee you, he thought, what, you did Adepts last game, you're not going to do it 2 games in a row. This was not on his poker read of what ZOUN was capable of in the series. And as a result, he's caught off guard. He was not playing safe against it. He was playing a little greedy, and he's been massively punished. Stasis Trap only managed to get 1 queen, but already a lot of drones going down on the right side of our screen. On the left side, the drones evacuate, but not in time. Many of them go down. The Adepts have already done enough damage. Blink +1, more probes are on the way behind it, but the damage is not done yet, even though he's done a lot. And the focus fire is good. He's going to head towards that 3rd base now, realizing that's actually the safest base for Rogue, and great split firing there. Momentarily with those Adepts. He did hop home for a moment to build some pylons, I believe, but the Adepts there are going to pick off a few more workers as they shade in towards the main base for another round. Did the Oracle just go down? I think the Oracle just ran in and died. Looks like the Queen's killed it in the main base. 15 workers is massive, though. But losing the Oracle's kind of crazy. He's going to build a new one. So it's 5 more gateways, blink, and +1. Cannons and batteries coming up on the 3rd to try and defend the counter thrust. And Swarmos being built off of 50 workers. That's a rage decision. I'm sorry, I'm turning to look at Rogue's camera. That's not a man who feels good. That's a crazy person's decision. He's only on 50 workers. That basically is him saying, I'm not going to build a single worker for the rest of this game. I'm just going to keep building Swarm Host Roach Circling, and I'm going to try to win. I mean, this is a crazy plan, but maybe. Does get himself a Stalker. A second one. Blink's not quite ready. Gets 3. Oh, but now that Blink's ready, and he's lost the numbers that can one-shot, suddenly he goes from, really good lethality to basically doing no damage after the first few. And that's a lot of roaches to be throwing away. That is a lot of roaches. Oh, ZOUN looking so good today. The Oracle doing so much damage. The Stalker's going to blink back. Oracle's not attacking the correct unit. Should be killing the Zerglings, but it's going for the roaches. So even though ZOUN's Stalker micro is excellent, his Oracle micro is slightly lacking. There's a lot to do here, though, and the Stalker micro is so good, I don't think it matters. He cleans up the attack, and remember, Rogue did not drone at all. He's trying to go 49 drone Nidus Swarm Host, guys. This is like buying a Ferrari when you are already $50,000 in debt. I don't know how you're going to afford to take that thing in for its first service. I'm pretty sure you're planning to get that thing reclaimed by someone you owe debts to. Dog the Bounty Hunter is going to appear at your door and take that car right off you, and you're just going to enjoy it while you have it. This is crazy that he's afforded the Nidus Worm even here. 9 Swarm Hosts and the Nidus Worm. You can hear that screech in a moment. Swarmos is going to go bile the main base. Can the Roach Ravager Queen defend? It looks like they can for now, but what can he get with the Locust? He's got a micro them. And oh no, he clicked on a gateway! He tried to shift click them to move in and snipe the main, but he accidentally clicked on a gateway. So he's just going to kill a few buildings, which is not terrible though, because he is catching Stalkers. Dude, Rogue just caught a bunch of Stalkers. I mean, what? And the Oracle's still being a massive pain in the butt with all that energy. The Stalkers, though, ZOUN showing about as much chill as a blizzard. And we're not talking about any blizzard. We're talking about the coldest, darkest, most hideous blizzard that has ever lived. We're talking about a blizzard that's led by Bobby Kotick. Queen Roach Ravager trying to defend here deep on creep. ZOUN sending Stalkers to the left to clear out this Nidus Worm. They need to get back inside that Nidus Worm. He's going to try and throw the wave. Does he micro it? He's got to make sure it doesn't land on the Stalkers, but no, it lands on the Stalkers, and that's an easy disengage. Just too much to micro. You need to very quickly select the Locust, click them in the main immediately before they land. You can do it, but it's very hard when there's a unit right on top and you're trying to look elsewhere and micro against these Stalkers as well. ZOUN doing a great job of staying in his face. He has a 4th base as well. Rogue seeing that 4th has got to feel his heart drop a little bit here. His heart sinking, as that's just so hard to deal with. Roach Ravager coming forward, Stalker pulling back. Oracle comes out, tries to do some damage. Swarm Host will be going down on that left side. Queens are there. And they are going to do some pretty decent damage. Roach Ravager trying to attack. He's making this game as sloppy as possible. Right now, Rogue is looking at this, saying rather than a fine steak from a fancy restaurant, we want some Sloppy Joe's StarCraft. It's the only way I can come back from here. I want just a big ladle of homogenous, goopy meat sauce. Let's go. Locust, get inside the main base. He finds some good damage. The supply is surprisingly close, but it's just when you're down 20 workers, if you can't get more economic damage, I don't know if this is enough. And I think Rogue agrees with me. He gets 9 probes in the main, but he's lost his army. There's no way that's enough damage. And ZOUN gets him 2 games in a row with the Glaive Adept. As Scarlet's old clan tag would say, you've been adepted. All right, ladies and gentlemen. We've got ourselves our first elimination match, and it's a best of 3. Down in the bottom right side, Skillus going for a gas first, no scout opening on Golden Aura. Maganatha. People keep telling me, they're like, I don't see it. And I'm like, it's Golden Aura 2.0. They're like, I don't see it. And I'm like, I don't know. I think it's a little Golden Aura inspired. But I do like this map. I think this is a Hyper 1 map as far as I know. Rogue in the top left side of the map looking pretty damn good in his ZVP late game recently. He's taken down Classic. He almost beat ZOUN just before this, but he just looked really weak to Glaive Adepts. And his opening defense is not tight enough. If there's one thing I look at with Rogue, is if we could put Rogue to a situation where there's not many like early game, really tight mechanical skill checks in terms of your build order and stuff, I don't know if Rogue ever loses StarCraft games. Like, I really wonder how Rogue would do in like auto battlers and chess and just other games that aren't as mechanical as StarCraft, because I feel like Rogue is so good at understanding his opponent, so good at the poker side of the game, understanding his opponent's habits, gambling, knowing when to do this, when to do that, when to take chances, as there are some purple fruit or mushrooms, purple mushrooms on this map. But I think sometimes it's when the game gets a bit hectic, he just leaves these little openings, or he gambles a bit too hard in this matchup specifically sometimes. And I think in the current stage, I'd say everyone gets caught by Glaive Adepts being greedy once in a while, but 2 games in a row he got caught in that last series, and that was not great for him. More importantly, I would say there was a bit of unnecessary Adept Oracle damage across the series at the start, and that's never easy. I would say one of the most difficult things as a Zerg for players who've come back from the early years of StarCraft 2 is realizing how fluid Protoss players are with their Adept Oracle. Because there is, I would say, more pressure on you as a Zerg than there has ever been to drone incredibly hard. Because even if the Protoss doesn't harass you, they just chrono these workers out so very fast. Especially this opening, gas first. Oh my gosh, the Stargate's so early. The probe count is insane. This is such a crisp build for Skillus. So you've got this pressure to drone harder than you ever did in the old days of StarCraft 2. But on top of that, you've got Oracles and Adepts in your base the entire early game. Nice pullbacks for Rogue. There we go. That's the detail we need to see. Oh, waits to the last second for the Spore Trick, which is kind of greedy, especially since they're playing the Americas server. Keep in mind, guys, Skillus did win the coin toss. He picked heads, so we are starting this on US Central. Slight ping advantage for Skillus over Rogue in map 1. And that's going to alternate. So if it does go game 3, he'll get 2 out of 3 games in a best of 3 on his server preference, which pretty damn decent advantage. Of course, on the other hand, it is a situation where it's like a 20 ping difference for most players. It depends where you are. Skillus, of course, lives in the Netherlands, has a pretty good connection to both servers of America. I would also point out here that we are one of the few tournaments, the higher seed player does not get to pick. It's the lower seed player who picks who starts the veto process, and he actually let Rogue start the veto process, did Skillus, which means Rogue picked this map. Skillus, I think, wanted to get a read on what Rogue was vetoing on this brand new map pool that we're playing this tournament on, rather than just going in and giving away what he wanted to do. I think he wanted to see a bit about the intention. 2 probe kills, fantastic. I mean, don't get me wrong, he didn't kill an Adept, and he did kill a drone. It's a pretty even early game in that regard, but it's delayed the Oracles and Adepts, and there's real pressure on Skillus to find something now. It's 3rd base. Only about halfway done. It's not super early. Forge, Twilight, 3rd and 4th gas. Looks like it's going to be a +1 melee build for Skillus, which is still reasonably solid, but dude, oh, he was busy chasing the Oracles on the right side. Does pull the drones at the last second. The Adepts are going to back away. Skillus playing a little cautiously. Oh, he wanted to cancel the 4th. But Rogue escorts him over. He's got melee on the way as well. And Rogue might go for a classic 50-50 here. Bit of a supply block for Rogue. Is building a few Overlords, taking a 2nd gas. And nah, he knew you were going to do that. Skillus, not worth, not worth. Good pullback. Adepts on this side. Another Oracle flies through. The Oracles all losing their shields. Not taking too much damage, though. And the Adepts getting him behind the mineral line. I'd love to see him focus the drones. He's just going to fight those Zerglings for now. And actually, there's so few Zerglings. Oh my god. He even saw the 4 Adepts, and he was sitting on 6 Zerglings. Wow, there's Greed, and then there's Rogue. That man is crazy. I can't believe he stayed on so many Zerglings. Like, yes, he's got 20 Zerglings popping out now, but that's insane that he thought he could get away with that. Now, the 3 Oracles come forward again, but these Queens are ready, man. He's not giving up his 4th base. And it feels like Skillus is not finding the damage he wanted. He's also going Charge first, which I would say is good. If he went Blink first against +1 melee, it could be rough, but I think going Charge Archon means the +1 melee is going to be a largely ineffective upgrade in frontal fights, more of a harassment upgrade. Pig just said Skillus picked the server. No, he picked the coin toss. He picked heads. He won the coin toss, which is why he gets his server first map. It's always going to be between Central and West when you've got Europe against Korea. Unfortunately, the USC server doesn't exist anymore, but we wouldn't use it anyway. Central and West are the most fair on the ping front. Templar Archives comes in as well as a double Robo Skillus. Is just going to play old school Charger Model Storm. And that's a great style if your opponent headbutts on roaches or anything like that. But look at this. Hydroden Infestation Pet. Rogue is going late game. He's heading there in a pretty crisp path, but Oracle's finally finding some damage. Skillus tries to fight the Queens and will get one of them, but he's going to lose an Oracle for that. No, he doesn't lose the Oracle. Of course, does almost get the Queen. Great reaction there by Rogue. Pulls all 6 Queens to the front. He's doing a dark. He's got every Queen on a control group, which means he is missing injects on his main, but he's already stacked them on his natural. And he's stacking them on the 4th and the 3rd base. Yeah. This is the dark emergency Queen system. Really, really good for making sure you can scramble your Queens quickly. But does mean sometimes he misses a few more injects. I don't think it really matters as long as you got a quick 4th you're injecting. Got a quick macro hatchery, I think you'll be fine. But you can see, because the Queens are always hanging around the front, the main just doesn't really get injected much with this style. +2 melee, +1 range, so it's double upgrades. Pretty tight choke point here. Doubt that'll matter much this game. And there's a 4th Nexus starting at 7.5 minutes for Skillus. Very similar supply for both sides. I don't see a pressure timing for Skillus, and that worries me for his ability to, stop his opponent getting out of control. Oh, he's got Zealots ready. That's nice. But Rogue is like, nah, this is enough surface area. I can kill it anyway. Seems crazy to fight here with the Zerglings, but I feel like Rogue's just been taking crazy fights all day long in his Zerg versus Protoss. The Zealots are going to save it? No! Yes! Yes! Oh my gosh, he does save it! Good trade. Very good trade. 71 units for 9, a very standard Protoss versus Zerg units lost tab. 62 Zerglings have died for 3 Zealots this game. The Nexus is damaged, but as long as he doesn't leave that exposed, I think that's something you feel pretty positive about, a skill. Nikita, aka Skillus. Rogue! Can't think of Rogue's human name right now. Interesting that Rogue just wants to play this stage of the game. Oh, Overlord speed. Do you think that's for Dropper Lords, guys? On this map, you could drop into the main. Big Lurker drop on this right side could be great. Lee Byung-yul. That sounds right. Lings get in, but the shield battery's there. Shouldn't take too much damage. The Zergling run-bys are cute, but so there's a disadvantage Rogue has right now, guys. He just played a late game against ZOUN, and Skillus just got to sit there and watch the whole thing. Like, he just was like, ah. And what was most of Rogue's late game success coming off? Massive Ling run-bys. And looking at that series, I was just thinking, dude, if I'm ever playing PvZ against Rogue and I get past the 15-minute mark, I'm building 6 cannons on every base, and I'm leaving High Templar everywhere. Like, I am not going to give... Like, I'm going to be super safe against Ling run-bys, because he was such a big part of his success in the last game. I mean, he lost the game, but I feel like he was playing it from a deficit and going into a situation where Zerg is meant to be disadvantaged. But Skillus did leave his pants down this time. Defended the previous one. This time his cannon's unable to get up. He's going to try to push it to the Lurkers. Crazy attack here for Skillus. He feels like there's just no support for the Lurkers, and he's right. But the Lurkers focus one on the full energy High Templar. The Immortal Archon doesn't have enough support either. It tries to do a 2-pronged attack. It backfires. Skillus thought there's no support. It doesn't matter when you've got Queens there transfusing like 8 Lurkers, 10 Lurkers in a clump with the range upgrade. That is a great fight for Rogue. Rogue clears out a lot of those expensive units, and Skillus now is going, oh, crud, I gotta pull back. Where's his Observer? This creep is so far out. Lings are killing probes on his 3rd still. And Skillus, the supply's close enough, it could still be okay, but look at this, guys. Rogue's doing what has won him about 43,000 Zerg against Protoss matches over the last 6-7 years of his career. Nidus Lurker in the back. And the thing is, Skillus is so busy dealing with the Lings, so busy dealing with, like, the mistakes that have happened for him this game. And oh man, even Ling's getting his main. To be fair, I don't think these Lings getting the main is good, because this actually brings Skillus's attention where you don't want it right now, which is the back of the main, where that Nidus will go up. Dude, can you even see that? Can you throw a Nidus in this spot without it being seen, I wonder? Oh my gosh, it might not even be in vision. And look, the Lings are going to distract at the exact same time as the Nidus goes up. It is in vision. I'm not sure if Skillus notices, though. Skillus is just struggling to deal with the Zerglings. His army's out on the map right now. And this is such... He wanted to be pressuring the front, but his army's just AFK in the middle of the map. Zerglings do burrow there. But there we go. It's Lurker time, baby. Do you risk recalling on top of this? He doesn't have the energy for recall. Oh no, he's F2ing home with his army. Zealots trying to deal with these lurkers. They actually get rid of 2 lurkers, but that's for a lot of Zealots. These Immortals actually going to start clearing up. Dude, Zealots are a good unit. Guess who's a better unit though? Mr. Zergling plus 2 Adrenal Glands. These Zerglings are on crack. That's actually not why they're called cracklings. We call them cracklings, much like crack soldiers, as in expert kind of commando special forces soldiers. And once they get that adrenal glands upgrades, it gives them plus 40% attack speed and makes them the most ridiculously high damage unit for their cost in the entire game. Those Zerglings cleansing that third base so well, and Rogue's Zerglings looking fantastic. All right, guys, we got Skillus in the top right side of the map, sends one of his very first workers across Tokamak. Now, Tokamak is a map which it's kind of like a, it's kind of like Alcyone. And he's going to be playing Rogue in the bottom left, of course. It's game 2. Rogue won the first game with Zerglings, and I think even more than ever, we've seen 3 games in a row of Rogue have great success with lots of Ling run-bys. And I think you're going to have cannons up for safety at bases by default. And you're going to want to put them in really defensive positions, like inside mineral lines, behind pylons. I don't think you want to be building cannons out front your third base or anything like that. Now, Rogue just moves to the third, takes the old 52-second 18 hatchery, which is fine. All right, we've got the Nexus there, the gas coming up. Gateway very far forward. Next to, of course, the advertisement for the iCruiser guys. Are you operational? I feel like that line could be used in a lot of ED ads. Get yourself operational. Anyways, I don't know. Probe harass here for Skillus. Just being a nuisance, but Rogue's counter-microing it really nicely. Dude, what a step up we have seen in Rogue's fundamentals and early game build orders in the last 2 to 3 months. A few months ago, I watched a game where a probe came into harass and Rogue attacked it with a drone and just followed it in circles around his mineral line for like 2 minutes. It was one of the least efficient handlings of a probe harass I'd ever seen, because in between getting chased, the probe was still denying mineral patches and like bouncing the drones away from optimal mining, and Rogue just was not counter-microing at all. This time, he's barely getting affected by it. He's counter-microing correctly. His build's not even touched. Goes to the old 20 Overlord here. I think a lot of the modern players are like, oh, 21 Overlord is better. I don't know. I still like 20 Overlord. I think it's clean. I think it works out and times out really nicely. But you can just see like he's doing a lot more 15 Overlord for little 15 hatch variations. Sometimes he's microing his drones better. It just feels like when Rogue came back, he was just doing the same builds that he was having success with back in 2019, 2021, 2022. And he was kind of like, I'll just try some stuff, see what happens. Oh, this is working kind of. Okay, this one's not. And it really felt like he hadn't actually studied. He was just showing up to tournaments and just kind of seeing what he could pull out with, obviously being one of the greatest players of all time. You can do that and you can do pretty well. But there was a lot of like little kind of, you could see the kind of teething pains, right? The little problems with his early games. And it feels like he's just evolved so much in the last few weeks. But this matchup is still, I think, the thorn in his side. So I think he would much rather just play a decision-making game, and there really is a mechanical, high-speed dance dealing with the Oracle Adept pressure where you're very busy on the APM side, and you've also got to try and get a read on what the Protoss is doing with limited information at the same time. Speaking of which, beautiful move. He gets 1. Can he get 2? There is an Adept in his third at the same time. The Adept goes down. Oh, taxing Skillus is multitasking. This is so classic. Gets 2 probes, gets the Adept because Skillus is distracted. Skillus is trying to multitask this, but Rogue really getting on top. Remember, I don't think Skillus has that much experience playing online cups. Something I've really got to say is a lot of the European players outside of Clem and MaxPax don't play a lot of these online tournaments as much. And I think it's playing with ping is definitely a skill you've got to develop over time. Rogue's been grinding online tournaments the last few months, so he's really used to playing with the ping. Keep in mind as well, back when we had the COVID circuit, right? The pandemic online circuit, TSL was one of the big tournaments that year. Serral fell off hard during the online stage. Rogue, on the other hand, stepped up. I think when Rogue gets to play from home, so he doesn't have to like interrupt his MapleStory grinding as like it's minimal as much, he basically is just playing his best StarCraft. He loves playing online from home. I mean, we've seen Rogue literally win world championships and just kind of like look a bit frustrated as he walks over, holds the trophy up, and just kind of like he's just like, all right, can you guys just pay me already? I know he's just a bit more of a reserved guy, but like it really feels like he doesn't relish the live experience. Whereas He basically, at that TSL finals, he 4-0'd, or no, it was 4-1. He beat Serral in 15 minutes. It was the most embarrassing defeat Serral ever had, was the finals of that TSL, where no one has ever beaten Serral that quickly, ever before. I don't even know if there's been a grand finals that quick. Oracles came in, get another drone there. Yeah, it was like a 15-minute series. If you guys go, just search for like fastest finals ever or something, Serral Rogue, it'll come up. Everyone commentated it. Because we were just like, we've never seen this happen before in a finals, let alone to Serral at the time. So I feel like Rogue sometimes does play his best StarCraft in these situations, but he's up against a Skillus who is going to be looking to stabilize here. And I do think the longer it goes, the more... I mean, Skillus has really got the... I'm going to optimize for the long game mentality. I'm going to just look for these little advantages here, there, and everywhere. I don't think he's really found a lot of damage with the Oracles. I think the game's Zound did a bit better in the early game. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh my gosh. Pull back. Shade's moving out. Lings do spot it, but I'm not sure if Rogue noticed that in the midst of everything else. Rogue's defense is really good, guys. 64 workers. He's building 4 more. 10 Zerglings are on the way. He's going for the latest +1 melee I've seen in a while. Doesn't start until about 5.5 minutes. Not a fast one. But Rogue's just straight flat economy is brilliant. Mass Lings coming out. I don't think you want to commit with those Adepts because we've got so many Lings popping. And these Queens and Lings are going to shut this down easily. Yeah, I think he can just A-move the Adepts now. Rogue does play it safe, pulls back. He doesn't want to let these Adepts in. I think Recall's the best move for Skillus, who actually jumps on the Queens like a mad lad. Oh, he gets a Queen. That was actually really nice. Okay, this is a really good distraction. Spire's on the way. Rogue does not want to play a slow, calm, straight-up game, and I think that's the right way to do it. Just go smack a guy with surprise mutas. You've had an incredibly greedy opening. As soon as he gets rid of these units, he'll want to take these gases. There is an argument, though, behind delaying the gases until the Revelation wears off, because you don't want him to see. The moment a Protoss sees fast 8 gas, he's going to assume you're rushing Mutalisks. Zergling's coming forward. Blink's not done. Could have surrounded, but with the Oracles there, not going to be a great idea. 69 probes for Protoss. He's got the meme number. I do believe meme numbers sometimes give you power, much like a lucky rabbit's foot that you kind of rub before a match. It can sometimes give you power. Hero often stops at 69 probes before going and doing an attack. Coincidence? I think not. Zergling's pulling back. Psystorm coming in. Psystorm not going to help you against Mutalisks very much. It'll help you against the Lings on the ground, but this is where you need that info as Skillus. He's looking around the map. He's going, what are you doing? What are you doing? And he's so paranoid about Zerglings because it's been Lings into Hydras, Lings into Banes, Lings into more Zerglings, Lings into Lurkers, but 12 Mutalisks coming in, and Stalkers can obviously deal with this, but seeing the gas is going to be something, maybe that tells him. He's got to worry about this. Remember that Spy is in the natural. Mutas are about to pop out. He's going to tag. Let's go to Skillus's vision, guys. We're on Skillus's camera right now. Mutas are popping right now. He's not looking. He's not looking. We're on his camera. He looks, but it's too late. The Mutas just popped. He did not see it. I don't think he realized. He's got cannon battery in his front bases, but I don't think he has anything in his main. He's still not building finishes. He keeps looking. He didn't see the Mutas pop. He keeps looking, which means he doesn't know. The Mutalisks are going down that right side of the map. Lings are in his base again. The cannon's out on the outside of the wall. Stalkers are there. The probes do stack to avoid it, but look at that. Mutas into the main base. Rogue right now is soaring all over Skillus's bases. If Skillus can survive without economic damage, he's going to be in a great spot. He's on 77 workers and 4 bases, but good luck surviving this with no damage. There's Mutas and Lings everywhere. It's a hurricane of Zerg in the Protoss base, and those Lings are finding so much. Mutas rotating to the south. Cannon Stalker actually defends pretty well there. 20 probes, often game ending earlier on, but at this stage, it's still 70 workers behind it. Skillus is taking a punch like a true European macro player right now, but that does mean his army's falling behind. It's not cheap. Remember, probes cost a lot. They are the most vulnerable unit for their mineral cost. 50 minerals for every probes. That was 1,000 minerals he lost in workers. He's trying to build a Stargate. 2 Stargate Phoenix can be good, but I think he's waiting until he actually confirms there's more Mutalisks, and now he sees it. And at this point, oh gosh, I don't think he has any Storm available. The High Templar gets jumped on and shot down by the Mutalisks. Oh me, oh my, the Ling's going ham. A single Phoenix wanders over and looks around like John Travolta from Pulp Fiction. It's the bloody meme. He's looking from side to side with his hands out going, what the heck am I supposed to do here? What, like, how do I solve this issue? It is unsolvable. I think Rogue here he had a good start. He got greedy, and once he got a bit of psychological kind of momentum with the Zergling aggro in game 1, ran with it in game 2, had an excellent, just boomy economic opening. And now he's running away with this match. Kills the Phoenix as they pop out. Happy to fight Stalkers individually. The Phoenix, another one goes down. Not to mention the Workers on this natural. He's got to get away because Blink is ready. He will lose 1 or 2 Mutilars on the disengage. The Ling Muta is still active. He's running it in from multiple sides. And Skillus overrun here. Just a bit too slow on realizing those Mutalisks were coming. Fantastic play by Rogue. And the Mutalisk swap, it's always a good surprise in this matchup. Right when people aren't thinking about Mutalisks, they suddenly become the best unit in the game again.